never walk this road, then you can talk shit. Gambling with my life, but I refuse to go for nonsense. This the life I chose, this all I know, ain't many options. About to tell the truth, I make the rules like I'm Fleece Johnson.
Hey, what's up? This is Big Lee with Hustler Spirit. What's up, Mr. Fleece Johnson?
How you doing, my brother?
Doing good, man. You got an interview coming up with No Jumper. How you feel about that?
Well,
with Adam 22.
I'm thrilled. Thrilled.
Do you know anything about them over at No Jumper?
Yeah, they got a good broadcast, and I watched bunch of their episodes and, you know, they skits and stuff. They pretty straight to me. I mean, they do like a double team, dude and some woman. You know, they got their questions they ask and they let you talk. And they, you know, they just talk, you know, straight up. And so I'm like, I'm already prepared for them, because, I mean, I already know some of the stuff they're going to ask me. How you get the name Booty Man? We got evidence that you is a booty man, and I'm going to say, show your evidence, and they ain't going to be able to. And it'll go back and forth on that. They going to want a little, for them to come and see me, man, they questioning everything about me now. And they are now able to see themselves, the lies that was said of me, and the lies that was held back. And a lot of people appreciate the truth that I bring to the table, man, because people get out of prison, don't talk about actually what goes on in the prison. And they come out all buffed up and make people think going to prison, man, you'll come out looking like a weightlifter and all this stuff. But they don't tell what goes on in her, what they did when they was in her. You know, but now you got somebody like me that come out, just tell the truth. What I did and what everybody else was doing while I was in her.
I'm glad you said what everybody else was doing. Because me and you, we done had conversations over, I asked you, I said, man, why don't people help each other in there when they see something being done that's not right? And you told me it's best to stay out of people's business and stuff like that. What are some of the things you've seen? Because there's some stuff you never said on video, on camera before. What's some of the stuff you've seen in there that we just wouldn't believe our guy was getting took or getting done bad or something like that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with the get done bad. First of all, in the penitentiary, we don't see get done bad in prison, because we look at the person who's in prison, the bad he done to get there. You know, that trumps all of it. You know, what kind of a crime did you commit to come here? Who you killed? You know, that trumps whatever you claim gonna happen to you in here. That's part of the consequence for your actions. You know, people tell you to stay out of trouble, but you're gonna get in trouble anyway. And go to prison, and then when you're in prison, you around men, they want booty, man. Want sex, want money, want somebody they can do their time off of. You know, make their time easy. See, people don't talk about that, but I do.
I don't think people understand how poor people are in prison.
Man, you think you got homeless out here in the streets? You ask anybody that's been in prison, You got, like, in a prison that can hold 2,500 inmates, you'll have, out of that 2,500, you'll have about 20 that gets visits regularly. Out of 2,500, only 20. And then you'll have about 600 or 800 out of the 2,500 that somebody's sending money from the streets. Keep a little money on their account. The rest of them ain't got shit. And they run around the prison all day looking for something to steal, somebody they can take their groceries, and you be down in the canteen, man, and here they come hollering, "Hey, Fleece, what? Hey, man, give me a pop, man, and a honey bun. Now, I ain't getting you shit. Don't ask me no more." But usually I get them stuff. I said, "I get you one for 2 back. How about that?
But they already broke and don't have nobody sending them nothing.
We ain't with the feel sorry for me in penitentiary. Ain't nobody can take that stance in her. The feel sorry for me crap, it goes out the door. Because first of all, why should we feel sorry for you, killer? You came off the street, killing up the neighborhood.
No, I mean, why would you lend him something ain't nobody sending him no money?
Well,
he can't pay you back.
No, I can either get him a job in prison, I give him a job. Doing something sexual. Working for me.
What are the things you seen that was getting done to people in there?
Man, it's like first of all, I had stores in there, and at the time we was able to smoke. And this one white dude, Mike Epley, he owed Jimbo and Marvin 87 cartons of cigarettes. Now in the canteen, you can only buy 2 cartons at a time a week. Anything over that, you'll get it confiscated and you'll go to the hole for loan sharking, debt collecting, and gambling, and be the charge. Well, Mike wanted to do money orders, and they said, "No, we want our cigarettes." He can't buy number 2 cartons, and he owed out 87 cartons. And they kept piling interest up on it, so he came to me. And I'm going to tell you, I saved him. I brought out all 87 cartons out that night. And net bags, people was helping me do it. But here's what happens to people in prison. They go to prison and they try that little fake ass stuff they do on the streets, gamble with no money. And they don't realize the game you think you playing, the inmates is already hip to, and they gonna play one back. They gonna play like they believe you strapped with money, right? And they know you ain't got it like that, right? Because they got other interests. And I seen people coming on and get in debt, and have to give their body up, give up some booty or some head, man. Go stab somebody or something like that to work off the debt. I wash out people's underwears and socks. You got a lot of people doing that in prison now. I mean, the gangsters that was on the streets, yeah, they be sitting in their cell personally washing people's underwears and stuff out with their hands, for noodles and chili and all that stuff, tuna fish.
Why they doing that for? Don't they feed you 3 times in there?
Man, we got Airmark took over because of that lawsuit. Airmark stepped in. They a food company, and they know how to feed your daily requirement that is by law, but in a real small portion. Like you get a little scoop that big of eggs. they'll stick it down there and scrape the side. Just that little scoop like that, and they'll clip it, and that's all the eggs.
Like an ice cream scoop.
Yeah. And that little bitty small portion of eggs, you'll say, come on, man, put some, because we used to see a pile of eggs on our thing. So, if you try to live off of what Irma feed you, you're going to starve in her. And so, everybody got, the canteen sells everything. Our commissary sells hamburger, cheeseburger, White Castle, any type of lunch meat, bread, crackers, tuna fish, jelly, peanut butter, all this stuff. They sell everything, shoes, coats, and all that. So, you got to hustle. Now, I seen people get beat to death in her. I seen people like gay stuff, like, man, this one dude, he'll borrow, like, he'll come to me and borrow 2 cartons of cigarettes. He got to give me 3 back Friday. Come Friday, he'll go to somebody else and borrow 3 back, 3 to give me the 3 he owed me. But now he got to give them 5 back. Then he'll come back to me and want 5, which now you're going to have to give me 8 back. See? But I already knew what he was doing. And I already talked to the people he done went and borrowed from, because we all, business people keep each other up to date, so can't nobody scam us and shit, right? And let us know when game is being played. So I already told him that the dude that was doing it, I'd like to get some of that booty of his, man. I done seen him in the shower, man. And his butt was like, like Serena Williams or somebody. He was thick. His butt was bigger than Jamie Foxx, right? And it was perfectly rounded, and he had a little small waistline. He was cute. And so he came to me, he said, he wanted that. I said, you owe me 8 back Friday. He said, yeah, I got you, police. I said, here. So come Friday, all the guys that he used to borrow from, I already told him, cut him off, man. They wouldn't lend him nothing. So I said, you got my 8, man? He said, police, my money didn't come in. I said, okay. I said, so what is they gonna put us, bro? I mean, I need my stuff. I need my cigarettes, man, cause I gotta be, I gotta feed myself, bro. I trusted you. He said, what can we do? I said, well, here's what's gonna happen. You owe me 8 right now. 5 will go to 8, and 3 will go to 5. So 8 plus 5 is what? 13. That's what you owe me now, 13 boxes, man. Come next week, he didn't have it. So I said, from here on out, it's double. And so I said, now, you got to come up with something better than what you been coming up with, bro. I said, hit me with something. He said, well, police, he said, I ain't got nothing but this. I said, what's that? He started laughing and he smacked his booty. My eyes almost rolled back in my head. I got to play it off like I said, "Ooh, shit." I said, what is that? I said, I ain't seen nothing. So he stepped inside my cell, pulled his shorts down, and jumped and made it bounce up and down. I said, "Oh shit!" I said, I just spread it open, right? Let me see what it, you know. And he took both hands and man, my eyes were like his. I'm like, oh my God. And I said, but man, he got as juicy. And I said, you know what? I got to play it off. I said, yeah, I said, all that looks good and stuff. I said, but, you know, I get that anywhere, you know. I got all the money in her. You already know I get booty anytime I want it, you know. So ain't nothing special about yours, you know. You know what you owe me. And if you think I'm just gonna do you one time and then you done pay me 20-something boxes of cigarettes for just, I said, I can go get some booty for 2 packs. You know, so you telling me just I can hit you one time. He said, no. He said, that's what you telling you. He said, what I'm telling you is once you get this, you can keep getting it. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. He said, I'm just asking you to help me out. I said, come over, baby. Come over. I said, sit down. He sat in my lap, right? I said, look, I got you. You know, when you get that shit off your face, you know, that little mustache, all that little bullshit got to go. I said, can you do that for me? He said, yes. He said, you gonna take care of me, Fleece? I said, you know, I'm gonna take care of you, baby. You know, get that shit off your face, though. You know, I won't see all that hair and all that shit. You know, them eyebrows is a little thick. You know, they need to be washed a little. He said, well, I ain't ready for all of that, right? I said, look, I got you. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. He said, okay, Fleece. I said, raise up a little. I said, now sit on this. He got him in it. He sat down. He sat back in my lap, and I'm pumping him, you know, holding him up there in his chest, you know. And I creamed, you know. And he took a wash rag and stuff and washed me, you know, and he washed up, and you know, I kissed him. So I love you. You know, I took care of his debt. Took a lot of like food and stuff I had, put it in his cell, got him moved up there where I was at. I decorated his cell and stuff, you know, romance stuff, man. Hey, I'm telling you, I gotta stop thinking about this stuff, cause I'm telling you right now, no disrespect. I'm sitting right here now, this stuff's going through my mind, I'm getting aroused, man. Thinking about it. That's why I don't like talking about this. And because that one there, boy, he had some good butt, man. I'm talking about his booty and he was tender. And you know, yeah, he said I was aggressive. You know, that I was just doing him too much. You know, I went from having sex with him 2 times a day to 5 to 6 times a day. You know, his butt was that good. You know, I just had to keep getting it. But I seen other things happen. You know, I seen people get like they got lady girls in her. Now inmates in her be tripping. Like a lady, all these ladies in America, they claim they poor and they ain't got no money and they need a job and all this stuff. Get a job in a prison. A jail. I don't care. You can be the fattest woman in the world. You go to a prison, they gonna look at you like you a queen. Finest woman. And so they be tripping. And then this one lady going in there, she was thick, built like a black girl. And her name was Brenda. And big old butt on her and stuff. She walked pigeon-toed, big thighs and stuff on her. And but these inmates, these black inmates, you know, he'll see her and talk to her, and everybody will see it. And you got guards and stuff, white guards, they don't like no inmates talking to these ladies, especially blacks. But they overlook me because they know I'm half crazy. You know, I'm gonna fight them. You know, so don't you know they hit the bell one day? Bing, 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 bing. You know, before, you know, usually they ring the bell when it's time to go in. If they hit it sooner, something done happen. Somebody done either tried to escape or somebody done got killed. And yeah, the black dude got stabbed to death over her. Now, check this out. They never even wanted to find out who did it. And, you know, you black and you get killed, good. And but I found out the guard paid an inmate to stab him, to keep that black dude away from that white lady. Then, the craziest thing I seen was I was in the dungeon, and they got holes in the wall like this. I can look through the hole into the other cell, because they got a hole in their wall too. Now, this psychiatrist lady came down there to see me, and I'm in her naked and stuff. So, she down there sitting by herself. She get up and go use the bathroom over. I said she got to be nasty to use one of these bathrooms. Because all the toilets is green and molded and all that stuff. Got a big block of concrete block around, cemented around the toilet. I look through the hole. Cause I'm on some freak shit. I want to see something. So I see her raise her blouse up and pull her pants down and stood up right there and peed. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And after she peed, she shook. Like she had a thing, right? And came back over there, and I got back in like I was sitting on the bed, and I'm still naked and stuff. And now I'm kind of nervous on what I saw, what I thought I saw, right? And, yeah. Now, the wildest thing that
What did she shake?
She had a penis, man.
Well, it wasn't no she then.
I know, but she's listed as a she.
She looked like a she and everything.
They got her written down as a woman. At prison is the worst is one of the craziest things I did in I'm in that same dungeon, and they had a nurse. She had long blonde hair, and her name was Nancy. Long blonde hair, and she came and stood at the door. She said, "Hey, Fleece." I said, "Hey." She said, "You need anything?" I said, "Yeah, I need somebody to talk to, Miss Nancy." See, when I talking like that, I'm deceiving you. You know, I'm talking real nice. I said, "Miss Nancy, yes, ma'am. You got a cold pill?" She said, "Yes." "You ain't gonna throw nothing on me?" I said, "No, ma'am." I said, "You ain't never did nothing to me." And one I trust. And she came close to that valve. I had my hands like this. Cause I could reach through that gravel, but I didn't want her to know that. I said, "I've been having a headache," ached like I was holding my head. When she came, I said, "Right here." And when she touched it, I grabbed her hair. Big, all that blonde hair, and pulled it through the bars and tied it in a knot, tied it in another knot, and she's screaming. Ah! So I started screaming, yeah! Ah! And I'm still tying her hair. So I got, her head is tied to the bars, man. And then I say, you bitch, you know. And I took and ripped all that down off of her. And I sit there and the thing, she was screaming. And I masturbated. I stood up on the thing, just squirted it just everywhere, all over her face, everything, man. And then guards ran down there. They said, oh my God, it's your body, boy. Boy, you gonna get it. You gonna get it, nigga. I said, man, I got something for you. Reached under the bed, grabbed a big old bucket of duty I had under there. I said, here, boof, do it in her face, do it on him. And she was throwing up, and she's still tied to the bars and stuff. And she was just screaming, ah, ah. She couldn't get loose because her it's tied. And every now and then I go up there and stick a finger in her and stuff, feel her. I said, this is juicy right there. I said, why you keep throwing up? You know. Then she'll look at me and I go, ah. And she go, cause all that duty's over and stuff. Then I just smear it all over her face and stuff. I said, you look like a little black girl now. Let me put some on your arm and stuff. And I painted her body brown with duty. And then they got this stuff went on for about almost an hour. Then the guards would come down and said, back away from her. Back away from her. I said, you take one more step and I'm gonna throw some more duty on her. So you back away. So they backed away. Then another hour went by and she's still screaming. She done peed and everything. And she's tied to the bar. And I'm talking to her. I said, look, you look black. Look at me. And she would throw up again, right? I said, why you keep throwing up? I said, ain't nothing coming out now. And so they talked to me, they said, please, we got to get her. We got to get her. Let us get her. I said, what y'all gonna do to me? They said, well, buddy, we're gonna have to come in your cell and spray it down and get all that stuff out of there that you got under the bed and stuff. I said, ain't nothing but cups and buckets of duty, man. We got to come and get that. I said, no, you ain't talking right. I said, I'm hungry. Ain't nobody brought me nothing to eat. Y'all go get me something to eat and we'll talk about all this. So they went and brought me a lot of food. And I ate it. But when I started drinking it, I tasted that medicine taste of that drink, right? I said, y'all think y'all slick, right? You know, I said, y'all put medication. He said, buddy, we got to put you to sleep. We got to get that woman out of there. I said, okay, man. I said, y'all gonna give me a shower? Yeah, buddy. Y'all gonna put your hands on me? No, we not gonna do that. I said, okay, come and get him. So he came in and he had a pair of scissors. Because they can't untie it, you know, all that duty and all that. So they had to cut it. So they had to cut all of her off and stuff like that. And then she just fell in that guy's arm and he picked her up. He had duty all over him and stuff. And he said, Johnson, this was some foul stuff that y'all said, man, go on somewhere. Ain't nothing more foul than the way y'all treat me. So, you know, y'all treat me like an animal, and that's what I am. You know, so, bow wow. You know.
What's when I asked you, we had this conversation before, but when I asked you the things you seen that other people did to other people, other men took advantage of weaker men in there.
Yeah. Like, you got people that you think you know in prison, they been in 8 or 10 years, and you say, yeah, I got homies and all this stuff. The 8 or 10 years they been out, you ain't sent them shit. So really, you ain't put no money on their books or nothing like that. So I seen people come in prison and think they got homies in, all right? And people that know them off the streets, you know, but dude been locked up and you ain't sent him nothing and he's down on his luck. And you got freaks and stuff like, hey, bro, who was that? I was a little nigga from my hood, man. I said, nigga's cute, I know that. You want it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna set it up where you can get it. And that's how they doing it. And I've seen dudes set their own homies up, man, to get taken, you know, and walk in a cell and dude and I waiting on them, you know. Dude said, what's up, man? He said, what you mean, what's up, nigga? Hit him in the face, take him to the floor and all that, and get him in a chokehold, and then asked him, you gonna be my bitch or what? And choked him a little, then he said, yeah. Then next thing you know, he's up in him. Then he's kissing him. Then they go to the shower together, come out of the shower, go back in the room, more sex, and it's him. I seen that happen a lot in the penitentiary. You know, you got people coming out and get stabbed, you know.
What, they refuse to do it, they get stabbed?
Man, yeah. Once you affiliate with a gang, you got to do what they tell you. That's why I ain't never hung in one. If you don't do what they tell you, all of them will turn on you. You know, you a punk, you a coward, you ain't no good. You a dad, you broke the oath, the code, and all that. So.
But the gang members wasn't participating in the homosexual stuff, were they?
Man, they say they wasn't. Most of them wasn't. But
you said that like you knew some was.
Oh yeah. They always do that stuff. People was Muslims that was doing the gay stuff in Catholics, Christians, gang members. Everybody was indulging and sneaking around. And see, that's when you can see the real inner person of a person. You know, like people come off the streets with all these gangster names and stuff. He was top dog out there, and he's a made man. You know, he was G-Funk. You know, he was the neighborhood G-Funk. You know, that nigga was that. And they were. But in the penitentiary, it's totally different. Now you see another part of them, right? You know, bending over, taking big things up the butt. And setting each other up. Snitching. The snitching thing was so bad in Eddyville that, and it was a lot of us coming out of my city too, man. And wrecks, man. And, you know, these people that didn't believe prison was as bad as it is. And when they get to a prison and see all this stuff go on in there, and now they got to watch their back, and everybody's out of them, and they get paranoid, they start going crazy, man. So the first thing come on their mind is, man, I'm getting up out of here. I don't care who I got to snitch on. I'm going to get as much information as I can. And that's what they doing. You come to prison now, people want to question you about who killed who on the street. And if you tell them, they going to tell it. And then they going to make a deal. And then they going to cut some of their time or get out. And it was big, man. I seen all the setups.
What did you see?
I seen one day, I was in the cell with they moved me to another prison, and I'm in the cell with Ron Palmer, strongest man in the world, in his weight class. He got locked up, man. He was in all them weightlifting magazines and stuff. We was bunkies. And this prison they sent me in, they called it Gladiator School. And motherfuckers, they fight to the death in here. Brutal stuff.
Was that Easter?
Yeah. And so, I'm there. So, I seen this one dude, black dude, run up on this other dude, pull a knife out, and the dude started running. So, he picked dude up and slammed him, boom, on the ground. And the dude was holding his wrist and said, "Don't stab me, man. Come on, man." He said, "Man, I told you, nigga." He said, "Nigga, I'm hungry, nigga. Nigga, I told you I'm hungry, nigga. I'm starving in here, nigga. Nigga, I need that shit." Cause dude that he had on the ground was going on visits and getting weed and pills and stuff off of visits. He was real good at it. But when he was selling it in the penitentiary, but he wasn't giving nobody nothing free. And dude was like, "No, nigga, I'm gonna take his nigga stuff." So I'm thinking he give me a stab dude. So I'm gonna go out the door and my Ron he said, "No, Buck, he don't." He said, it ain't like what you think, right? I said, "He give me a stab at dude, man." He said, "He ain't gonna do nothing." He said, "Just watch a little of it." And dude laying on the ground, "Come on, man. Come on." He said, "Man, when you gonna give me something?" He said, "Man, I'm gonna give you something today, man." So he let him up. Then dude started running again. He caught him and took him. He said, "What you running from, nigga? What, you getting ready to go tell on me? You getting ready to tell on me, bitch ass nigga?" He said, "No, man, I ain't gonna tell on you." He said, "No, nigga." He said, "You know what? I'm getting ready to stab you right now." He said, "Oh, please don't." And he said, "Ah." He said, "Please." He said, "Boy, I'm gonna give you one more chance." He said, "No, I ain't." And every time he ran his hand back, I said, "This is it." I said, "Ooh." You know, like I know he getting ready to do it. But he wasn't. He was tormenting dude. And he let him up. But dude went down there and told the guard that dude had a knife. So they come up there and lock him up. And so Ron said, he said, "Watch this shit." He said, "Now stay out of this. This is gonna get serious." So I'm looking at the door. He said, "Don't go out there." I stayed there. Here come 3 black dudes came in. They walked over toward dude and started mopping him, hitting him hard, right? Took him to the ground, stomped him. They took a steel thing and beat him so bad that it opened his head. And I seen his brain. And I said, "He dead, man." And he looked at me, he said, "Bunky, man, I don't want to see you in no trouble, man." I said, "Man, fuck these motherfuckers down here." I said, "You know what? I'm not staying down here." So,
So they scared you out of Easter.
man, look, they didn't scare me nothing. I said, "I'm not staying here because if I kill them." Everybody heard of me. I knew me down there.
They're trying to get a name off of you.
Yeah, somebody gonna try to get a name off of me, right? Sooner or later, I seen it coming.
So that means
right?
you were scared you trying to get from in there.
No. I said I'm gonna get away from her before I have to kill somebody, right? And so I went in. That's when I went into the warden's wife's office and say I want to go back to Eddyville. She said, "You got to be here a minimum of 6 months before we can even consider that request." I said, "Look, I don't want to have to force my way back." She said, "Force? Are you making a threat? Because if you are, we can handle it." I said, "Look, let me shut her down." I jumped up, stood up on the desk, pulled my pants down and duty right down her desk in her face. And it was just dropping out. Boom. Big turds. And then I reached down, grabbed some paper off her thing, wiped myself and threw it at her. And it stuck on her. And I said, "Now call somebody." That's when they took me back to Eddyville that same day, butt naked, and laid me on the ground in front of the guard tower, got in their cars and just drove out. Yeah, so did.
So I'm gonna ask you again because I feel like you getting away from it. Because we done talked about a lot of stuff. What in prison did you see that a part of you feel like you should have helped somebody out?
Well, that was a black guy from our city. And he run around talking like a gangster. And he talked that gangster to everybody. And he talked to me. So I didn't really like him. And so he took the gangster stuff from me and talked it to one of them white guys, one of them killers. And the white guy is like, I'm gonna fight you one-on-one, I'm gonna kill your black ass. And he like, you bring your white ass out of that cell tomorrow, hoochie. I'm gonna do this and do that. I got along with the white guy. They came out the next day. I'm on the walk. White dude said what he said. You know, it's on. Ain't no, let's talk about it. Ain't no, you know how people stand back and they punch scared. They just stand back and keep flinching at each other and all that. Ain't nobody threw a punch. It wasn't that. That white dude came out and went straight for him. Swinging. Swinging like that. Now, the black dude had a weapon that he made. And he stabbed that white dude about 4 or 5 times. And, in the shoulder and the chest. The white dude kept coming, man. He went back up or nothing, and then he hit him and he dropped the weapon. And the white dude picked it up. He says, your ass now, boy. And ran up on him and started stabbing him. And the black dude was trying to get away, and he grabbed him by the hair and was just hit him like that with it, everywhere. And he dropped right in front of me, the black dude. And he looked at me and he said, won't somebody stop this? And the white dude done took and he done told something, and he done took and put that thing in his hand and wrapped it where it won't slide out, where he got a better grip. I could say, man, that's enough.
But
I walked away. Man, do whatever the fuck you gotta do, man.
did he die?
Yeah, he died. And but that's on him. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Well, let me ask you this: mentally, because at this time you wasn't you didn't believe in God at this time?
No, I didn't.
Okay. When you start believing in God and you thought about this, how did it affect you?
It didn't.
It never did?
No, because I stayed like I asked myself, I look over some situations, not only him, I seen time where I seen a person forced to eat poison. I knew people in
Hold on. Where'd they get poison from?
Look, let me tell you this. People don't understand prison. You think them inmates is dumb. They smart as hell. A lot of them is real intelligent. You got inmates that take a CD player, make a tattoo gun out of it. You know, take the motor out of CD and do the tattoos with the motor, make a tattoo gun. And it stands out too, and good. And nobody get infected, ain't none of that. And it's clean, sterilized. You got inmates, they got a thing where they said black widows, spiders, are not found in this region, right? If you look it up in the library. But in Netherville prison, they everywhere. And them guards will tell you, if they find one, you try to take one in your property, they gonna charge you with a felony. You know, but people get that poison out of that, and you got inmates in there experiment on stuff and know how to create stuff that kill you and stuff, right?
They take the poison out of the Black Widow.
Not only that, but they make poison out of, I don't know their ingredients, you know. I ain't asked them that, but I don't even want them to know that I know what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I knew this 2 inmates that they get ready to put this in their food.
The poison from the Black Widow or just poison, period?
Poison.
Okay.
I don't know where they got it from. And I could have said, nope. Nah, y'all ain't gonna do it.
That don't mean they would listen to you.
I could have stopped it.
You wasn't that bad in there, man. You wasn't just gonna stop everybody that want to do something to somebody.
My word was
Stop doing that, man.
I'm just telling
you was a little bitty dude in there, man.
I'll tell you what, my word was that for real. You know, man, I'm serious, man. People rely on me. I just like when they had gang fights and all.
Did the guy eat the poison?
Yeah, he did.
He died from it?
Yeah. And then the other one that
And you could have stopped it?
Yeah, I could have.
And when you start believing in God, it never entered your head?
No. I didn't, I think about it on my own.
But you don't think you was a monster in there?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Before you told me you wasn't?
Yeah, I was. I was worse than a monster. They turned me, they just said I was evil, man. And they just said, man, you come from the devil. Because when I trick them, like them ladies and stuff, I said, how you doing, Miss Fleece? Hi, Fleece. I said, what's the weather like out there? Well, it's kind of warm and a little breezy. Well, I mean, humidity rise, you know. Oh, the air circulation is good. I said, I ain't see you last week. I was on vacation. You have fun? Yeah, where y'all go? See, and then when she get in front of my cell, boo, a big old bucket of shit. And she backs up and throw up. And I hit all that magic shave in her.
Yeah, you told us about that.
And the black guard, he quit. He quit his job at night because they told him to pick her up. He put a sheet over and the sheet turned brown. He said, to hell with this. And that sergeant told him, you will? He said, no, I won't. He took that badge off and said, I quit. And walked out. They said, we're going to get you, boy. We're going to get you, Fleece. But you know, I got caught in a stream of battles, one battle after the next. I'm fighting the guards, then I gotta fight some crazy inmate. Then I gotta fight some more crazy people, and I'm fighting all the time. And then God is trying to reveal himself to me at the time all this going on, prove to me that he exists and all this. Yeah, I know that. I got that, but I gotta fight. You know.
Oh, you told God to hold on.
I told him I wasn't doing it. I actually received a calling. I actually received a calling, a real spiritual calling, and I refused it. And God was just loading me up with stuff. And I know a lot spiritually. But I knew what was required of me. But see, here's what was getting me. Like, I remember when I seen the birth of Christ, where he stood up on his 2 feet at birth and snapped his own umbilical cord. Jesus did it. At birth, he did it. The only child that ever did it in the world. I seen that. God has heard his voice, seen the broken head for the 10 Commandments, seen Moses, seen Jesus when he comes back, seen, I seen so much. Then I seen I seen a real angel in the angel form. I seen an angel. I done battled spirits, demon spirits and devils. I battled them, and I've seen them, and I've seen them inside of a person. So I know it does exist. But while all this is going on, it's making me read the Bible to figure out what is happening. But at the same time, I'm taking all this in. Here come a guard to my cell. Hey, Fleece, chow time. Take the whole tray. Bam! All my food is all over the wall and stuff. He said, have a nice dinner. So, do you actually think I'm gonna, I just threw the Bible down. I said, the hell with this. They treat me like a dog in here. And God think I'm gonna go through a bunch of sacrifices and prepare myself to deliver a message to these people? Not me. I said, you can take my life with them. You know, take man's with them. I ain't doing it. And then I back away from my calling. Then God will come at me again. Had me while I was scared to go, close my eyes, go to sleep. And kept calling me back, and I read some more, then I study this, then I study the Quran, then I study all religion. I'm trying to make sense of all this stuff that I'm seeing and hearing, and with my eyes open. And then when I went to hell.
When you went to hell?
Went to hell.
You right here. How you go to hell?
Listen, let me tell you.
Well, prison was hell, I guess.
When I say hell, I was there. I went there. My life left my body and went there. And that's why I seen an angel in his original form in flames and fire. Had the figure of a man. I seen that with my eyes open, not high, not intoxicated, not ever hallucinated. I can't say it's a dream because I'm wide awake and my eyes is wide open. And yet still, the way they treated me I said, no, I'm going to fight. And I kept fighting. You know, I fought all the way to the last day, 40 years. You know, you do something to me, I'm going to do it back. And so, and that's why they took it personal. Threw me out of prison and put all that stuff on the internet. Crazy stuff about me that wasn't true. But you know what? God is still there. tugging at me.
Peace.
Yeah.
Hey, Fleece, have you been watching the coverage on Charlie Kirk? The guy got shot in the throat.
Yes, I have. And I'm glad you spoke on it because brought it up. Well, really, I want to speak on it, and because I feel this about it. We have a constitution that gives all Americans freedom of speech. It's the law. Nobody should be assassinated for what they say. Now, you got a lot of people say it was consequences because of who the guy was, and, he was racist. He was anti-gay type. He was the kind that attacked gay people and a lot of people. And I guess people that he attacked it became offended through the things he attacked, through his attack. And so this is something that is needed to know. They talk about how you fix a problem. You watch what you say. And that's it. And you should be like YouTube. It's only so much you can say on YouTube before they sanction you on it. It should be the same way out of here, But when you are into politics, and right now we got a little fruit thing going on in politics between different parties, and so when you get up there and you start talking bad about people and this and that, you're going to offend somebody. And if you're going to get up there and talk, you got to know the consequences of what could happen. And this is the type of stuff that happens when people get up and start saying a lot of things that really they shouldn't say. But they say it anyway and feel it. And yeah, you got a right to freedom of speech. But this is what happens when you offend people.
And I'm just going to add that prayers goes out to his family. I didn't agree with nothing that he talked about, but I didn't think he should have got killed that way. But I do believe the same resources that was used to find his killer and to solve that crime should be used all over the world when people get killed. We've got a lot of cold cases that if they had the resources, they could find solutions for them and find the killers. But that's my only problem. My problem's not with him. My problem is with the system. I feel like the same resources should be available for everybody that gets killed.
And another thing I want to say, and a question, like I said, when you heard from a hustler spirit, we're going to add something that usually people forget about. That's why they say we truth seekers. Now, the guy that did the assassination, the suspect.
What's his name, Tyler Robinson or something like that?
Yeah, Tyler. They said before he got arrested, they wanted to kill him so bad that they posted $100,000 reward. So, I'm curious. Being that the daddy told him, they brought him to the police station, his family.
Mm-hmm.
Did they get that reward money?
They probably will.
Now I want to know, did they?
I don't think it's going to happen that quick, but they probably will. I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that.
All right. Now, do you think they should take it? I mean, it was their son that did it.
I think they should donate it to that man's family, that man's wife and kids.
Take the $100,000 and donate it to
the wife and kids, since they're kin to the guy that did it, since they're his parents.
Okay.
They should donate it to the Kirk family.
Right. So here's the question for all the people.
For the kids' education, I mean, just, something like that.
Yeah, so that question mark is there for all the fans and all the people's listening. We want to know, and you should want to know, did they get that money? And if they kept it and not donated,
Well, what I want to know is, I do want to know this. How did it get to $100,000 so quick? Because if it was me or you, it would be a long time before it got. It probably wouldn't. Yeah, it probably would have never reached that point. So I don't know if his family put it up. I would like to know who put that type of money up that quick, because he wasn't necessarily a politician. He wasn't a city worker. I would really want to know, how did it get to $100,000 so quick? And like I said, if it was me or you, it would never reach that point probably.
Yeah, and not only that, I want to know, did they give that $100,000 to the people who called him in and said, we got it?
I don't think we'll ever know the truth.
Yeah, we need to know. We need to know that. And like you said, I'm in full agreement. The money should be donated to the man's family. The guy that got killed, his family should get that money and them kids. But if dude's family took the $100,000 and kept it for themselves, then what does that tell you? And then the last thing I'm gonna say is, I heard the president say that he's wishing for the death penalty. Now, you talk to somebody, Mr. President, you can look me in the eyes, I'm telling you the truth. I did 40 years in prison. I did it around death row inmates. The worstest thing for a death row inmate is to be given life without parole. It's torment and it's torture to them. To sit there and watch yourself go old, to watch your eyebrows turn gray, to watch and then you still in the penitentiary going through all the prison mess that you wish you could escape from, right? Inmates throwing pee and duty and fighting and killing, and you gotta do what the guards tell you, you getting rolled up, and they coming in your cell and stripping your cell. That's torture.
Especially for a 22-year-old.
Yeah, and if you kill a person with the death sentence, hey, you ain't even giving them time to even feel no pain, right? But it's a great suffering. When they get life without parole, it's a great suffering. Believe me, Mr. President, it's a great, terrible suffering. I seen one guy, Kelvin Stanford, and these white people in the church community come to the prison and rally for him to get him off of death row. And they rally, picket to the governor, and our lawmakers in Kentucky saw him mercy on it. And I spoke to this guy. And I said, hey, Kelvin, congratulations. He said, on what? I said, he got off of death row. He said, effing white people. He said, I'm still locked up. Yeah, I'm still locked up. It's torture for him to be locked up now. You see all this stuff turning gray. And then he walks and he falls, he gets up.
So you're saying don't kill him, let him grow old?
Make him look in the mirror at what they did. Don't let them leave this world like feeling like they did something good. Get in time to regret every bit of it. Let them stay in the penitentiary, go through all the prison stuff. All that stuff you go through in prison, that's torture. And people in us, a lot of them wish they so afraid to kill themselves, but they wish they were dead. And to be given life in prison, and you put them in one of them prisons where it's torture, miserable, worse than death.